everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Law That Leads. I have the pleasure of welcoming Said with me here today, who is our favorite branch manager at our local Scotiabank. He has nearly a decade of experience in the financial industry, but for the past 5 years, Said has specialized in business banking, focusing on commercial credit specifically, and working closely with a diverse range of clients, which include lawyers, doctors, and small business owners. With a deep commitment to understanding and supporting the unique needs of business owners, Said has excelled in assessing operational foundations and crafting tailored financial solutions that foster growth and success for each and every one of his clients. So without further ado, welcome, Said.
It's my pleasure being here, Paula. Thank you. Just an FYI, it's one of my favorite law firms in the neighborhood, so
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I was thinking about what I was going to say today about how I was going to welcome you, and I literally could not think of one bad thing to say about you.
Wow, I can't think of anything bad myself.
But I'm serious when I say this. You
Okay.
genuinely have been a great support system for our firm, which is no easy task to be building a full service firm, to be building a firm at all, let alone a full service firm, and that's innovative and disrupting the legal field of what Anissa and I are trying to do. So thank you so much for your support. We truly appreciate it. And you really have assessed us as a client very well and showed us products at Scotiabank that truly fit us and make us grow. But I'm sure there are many challenges in providing those products to your clients.
Of course.
So with that said, what unique financial challenges do you find that lawyers specifically face at different stages of their career? And how is Scotiabank, especially the lawyer banking program, solving some of those problems or filling some of those gaps in the industry?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure joining you guys. It was a great journey just meeting you, meeting Anissa, getting to know about your firm. This is what I really love to do, and I really enjoy working with great people like yourself. Not just like a lawyer or professional, but you're really inspire me, and I hope you inspire other lawyers as well to start their own firm. And as you know, I'm sure, like whenever you finish school and you take a huge commitment to go to law school. Mm-hmm. So people, whenever they get out of school, they have a lot of debt, or it takes a lot of courage to go up and say, hey, I want to start something on my own. So that's where the Scotia Professional Banking comes in play. We have awesome programs for many professionals in different industries, but we love lawyers like yourself. And yeah, we have a lot of branch managers like myself and a lot of business account managers as well in the field that specialize in giving very tailored advice to each firm to help them reach their long-term goals. So every person has different goals and objectives and what they want to accomplish. I would say our goal is to really understand the client best and really be able to offer tailored solutions. So the advice I would give to you could be very different than the advice I would give to someone else. But I think that's where us as in the business banking world, it's our commitment to kind of get to know you guys very well and understand what you guys want to accomplish, and we'd be able to help on that sense. But to be specific with the professional program, the professional program for lawyers, we offer many different segments. So it's all about stages. So if you're in school, we offer the funding for your education. If you're just starting to be employed, we offer a small operating line to help you see how you want to build your cash flow. If you're thinking about buying a firm or opening up your own firm, we also do financing and injection loans, customized loan products, and capital injections to help you start your own firm as well. But it really depends on your objective, and it really depends on your goals. And we're here to help you out and walk through it the whole way to get you to where you need to be. And I think that's what we do best at Scotiabank.
I agree with that. And I want to ask you this specifically because when I wanted to go to law school, it was very clear in my mind, and I did not apply to a Canadian law school. I wanted to gain that experience in the Asia Pacific because I did want to study international trade law, which I did. Went into a different direction, which is not uncommon for lawyers to do. But when I remember going back asking for a loan to go to law school, there was a huge difference between someone that was going to law school in Canada and someone that was going to go overseas. There was a lot more restrictions that I remember. Now, without putting a date on that time, maybe you could tell us if that has changed, how Scotiabank is making that better and or reducing those restrictions, I guess.
You know, obviously there's a lot of constraints with whatever kind of decision you want to take. And I know there's a very popular decision of like, hey, let me go outside Canada to kind of complete my studies. But at the end of the day, you are going to be a professional and it's an investment that you're trying to accomplish, which look at you. You came back and we love ALF. It's one of our favorite firms. But needless to say, like I think what really puts us apart from our competition is really we have a very good committed team that sits down and tries to break down those barriers to understand what kind of solutions can we offer. So if you're going outside of Canada, there is solutions for that. Obviously, we want to work with very accredited schools. Yeah, what sets us apart, we have a team that provides solution to adapt to each stage of the lawyers and really depending on the goals that you're trying to accomplish. I would say I would say the constraints are always there, but what really puts us apart is really getting to know what you're trying to accomplish and getting to know the little details. Because the more it's an open communication, the better it is for yourself. Because then now you know what kind of expectations that you can put on from getting the financing you need, and then from the bank to get you exactly to your goal that you're trying to accomplish.
So tell me a little bit more about these programs in terms of how do they work in real life? Because, you know, not everybody's a financial expert like yourself. But in terms of raising capital or upscaling or just in general, how do you think this will change the market dynamics for innovative law firms like us specifically? Because we are doing literally everything very different from others, and we're trying to come up with new ways that don't necessarily exist.
Yeah, like if I want to break it down into simpler terms, like each stage has a specific program. So if you're in school, we have the Scotia Professional Student Plan, and then people like yourself who already has a firm and now you're trying to grow, we have different many programs from like lending opportunities for, and I think in your position it's more of capital injection, practice acquisition, renovation, building purchases. You want to take out a leasehold, equity takeouts. We offer different solutions, but again, it's really based on objectives and goals. So if my goal is just to really start my business, just to start my firm, I'd probably be looking at, hey, financing options to buy a place or a leasehold improvement. But it's really based on different tiers, different programs. So as I said, if I'm in school, it will be a Scotia Professional Student Plan. If I'm a practicing professional, it's a Scotia Professional Plan. To give you a bit more insight, a bit more details on those, because that's what you want. Our programs can go depending on the range, but the amount of dollars is not really the specificness here. It really depends on what you really need. But specifically for professionals, and these are the people that we really love working with, it's really competitive. So we can go prime plus a quarter. So we do operating lines for your business to help you grow and help with your cash flow just to start with. And then based on what you require, we'll help set up a full solution with our team, our professional team, to work with you and your firm and help with your accomplishments. But the solutions are limitless depending on how your goals and how much ambition you want to go to.
I just have to say that's such a lawyer answer, because when people ask me, how does this work or how does that work, I always say it's case by case basis.
Yes.
And it sounds like we're on the same page when it comes to that.
Yeah, and I think like sometimes you look at this as a plus or minus, but like I think it's much more beneficial when it's more case by case, because like I shouldn't be able to give the same solution to everyone. It should be very unique to your own specific accomplishment. So we do have programs that are very specific to lawyers, but as you know, your growth as a firm and your objectives as a firm might be very different from another.
I agree.
Hence what puts ALF very different than other firms. So Scotiabank offers various programs designed to support lawyers, from like raising capital to scaling your operations. So we can give you operating line of credits or specific term loans to actually help you buy the business or do property purchases or firm expansion. Again, that could be used through the Scotia Professional Plan or a different solution. But on the note as well, we do have options as well for practicing lawyers, like investment management, succession planning, anything that really helps with the growth of the career of the lawyer. And I'm assuming it's the same in your field, right? Like you do a lot of those services yourself. Ours is just more on the financial end of things.
So when it comes to an operating line, I know there's many factors that influence whether there's an approval or a denial.
Of course.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
So again, that's really case by case because it really depends on the stage that we're in, right? But from the solutions that are subject to approval, whether it's using the operating line for your cash flow or 100% financing of the practice, and I think that's one of the elite programs that we're doing, capital injection, practice acquisition, renovation, building purchases, equipment. I don't think you guys need so much, but if you did, it's something we do. Leasing options, equity takeouts, and capital arrangements. We look at every kind of problem and we try to help to find a solution. But again, it's just like any industry, it's really case by case oriented. Yeah. And again, I think the program is very effective. And the details, like if you really want to go more into the details of it, it's all on the Scotia website under professional banking. But again, it's really case by case depending on what you're trying to achieve.
But that's the good thing about the case by case is that you can take the time and fully understand the situation and see how the factors change from person to person.
Exactly.
Because one person could have a certain situation that doesn't affect the other, and there's no point of taking that into account.
Yeah, it would be a mess if I do exactly the same thing for every person, because that wouldn't be the most suitable solution for anyone.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think we take pride in like taking our time assessing the clients, working with you closely, and I think we do that very well here, me and you, to see exactly what we need to do for the firm to help you reach the goals that you need to achieve.
Speaking of programs, as you know, condominium law is a great passion of mine, and I'm always thinking of innovative ways to better our clients' communities. Now, I know you and I discuss this often. Yes. But for our listeners that are not aware of the situation, in condominium law, there is almost a strict requirement that all payments have to be made by check. And the reason and on the check, it always has to have two signatories. There always has to be two board members that sign off on this invoice or payment or whatever the situation is that needs to be paid. Now, in today's world, working with checks sometimes is very difficult, and the model doesn't necessarily fit today's digital banking. Yes. And it could cause delays, it could cause other sort of issues, but I also understand the benefit of it and the safety and the security side of things, where now it's a 2 people or 3 people process depending on how many board members there are. But in terms of programs and Scotiabank specifically, what banking solutions do you provide at Scotiabank that would really streamline the payment process for such transactions?
Like what you raise is like a problem that everyone goes through, and it's with the world that we live in today, everything is going through digitization, and I think Scotiabank has a great platform, which I know you know very well, Scotia Connect and Cash Management. We offer a very efficient platform to do any kind of payment processing, from EFTs, wires, you name it, we kind of do it. The beauty that it kind of helps you on that is the security aspect of things. So every user will get like a digital token. And if it requires two people, such like in your situation and the property management situation, you always need those layers of approvals. So it's like getting a check and running through different offices to get everyone to sign on it. The beauty about the whole platform is once someone does it, the second one can approve, and it just keeps going until the full approval goes. But you don't really need to be in one office to actually do that. Everything could be done virtually. And then the security aspect is just through tokenization. But I wouldn't be the best person to give you those technological solutions, but we offer Cash Manage and Scotia Connect, which actually is revolutionary for the market. And it really eases people to make those payments because it's such a headache making those checks again.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not very technologically advanced either. It's very difficult for me to understand a lot of things. But what I do know, and I know you know this very well, but I know in Canada, our banking laws are very, very strict than some other countries. And that's the reason why, you know this, but for our listeners, that's the reason why it was very important to us that when we developed our app, it had banking level security. And the reason for that was not only the security of the documents that the clients are signing or whatever information is being shared through our app. For our listeners, tell us a little bit more about what exactly is more strict, or how are people better protected in Canada with the banking wise than in other countries in the world?
I would say fraud now is a huge thing in the world. It's kind of an unstoppable thing, but the banks in Canada, we do great layers of protection and security, such as two-way authentication, security questions. We really we make it hard for any kind of scam or fraud to happen. Which it comes at cost of convenience as well, but I would say it's always better to be protected than being in a very, very tough situation. Hence, our level of security in banking is so top notch.
So we do have a specific question for you with the joint program and the partnership that Scotiabank has developed with Startup Canada. But for our audience that maybe don't know what Startup Canada is, what exactly is that?
Yeah, Startup Canada is a great gateway to deal with a lot of entrepreneurial programs. So if you're looking to start your own business, we have different solutions for you. The most popular solution, I would say, is the Canada Small Business Financing Act that helps you start up your own business and gets access to capital. And we look at many solutions based on your business plan to kind of help you start that first business of yours. And actually, Scotiabank is a proud sponsor of a lot of startup in Canada, such as the Women Initiative too. I don't know how many different ones, but yeah, we're big on that.
So speaking of Startup Canada and your partnership with them, what tools does it actually provide for legal entrepreneurs like ourselves that want to scale the business? Or I guess, if you want to talk about the other side, how does it eliminate barriers?
So Scotiabank doesn't just help professionals, we help everyone. We work with every client to help them achieve what they're looking for, right? So my goal as a branch manager or a team lead for business banking is really to understand the client best, to kind of help him find a solution to get them where they want, right? So whether it's a solution that we already have existing, or maybe we have the solutions but you don't fit into them, we figure out a tailored solution to get you to where you want. So in your situation, you're a professional. We have very segmented teams that specialize in lawyers. Whether you're a student, you're a practicing lawyer, or you're trying to buy your own firm, these are all stages. But our dedicated team is there to give you those holistic solutions from A to Z, from capital access, building your own firm, financial planning, succession planning. If you're really even selling your firm too, if you're coming to that point in time where you want to wind down, we're there for you.
Well, Said, thank you so much for being here with us today and explaining all of these different programs. For our audience that might want to reach out to you, how would they do that?
Yeah, well, Paula, thank you so much for inviting me over. Always happy to help you, your clients, and whoever is listening to us. If you guys want to reach out to me, my personal email is said.arafeh@scotiabank.com. You can also go through all the materials on our website. There's a Scotia Professional Program, not just for lawyers, but for any kind of professional. Or if you're just a business owner, feel free to reach out. We're always happy to help. I'd also recommend just go to your local branch. If they have a small business advisor, it's the greatest way to access all this information. I believe all our team is very capable of giving you all the information you need, but feel free to reach out to me. You can also reach out to me on LinkedIn, Said Arafeh, that's me. Thanks for having me.
This podcast is brought to you by ALF LLP. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and empowering. This is a kind reminder that our content is intended for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute as legal advice. Every situation is unique. So if you need legal support, we encourage you to book a consultation with one of our lawyers on our website, alfllp.ca. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others. For more engaging conversations, expert insights, and practical advice, follow us on social media at @ALFLLP. That's where you can find our podcast, Law That Leads. Thanks again for listening, and more importantly, drive safe.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to episode 7 of season 2 of our podcast, Law That Leads. As this is our last episode for this year, we will be back on Tuesday, January 21st of 2025 with episode 8 of season 2. In the interim, we wish you a happy and safe holiday season, and we look forward to you tuning in the new year. So, cheers to a happy new year.